Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about a book that I did not want to read, but I did anyway, because apparently I love suffering just for the sake of content. That's too harsh. That's not why I read it at all. I was curious, I was naive, I had my hopes up, and I was completely taken apart. I came crashing down to the real world. Oh my gosh. If you're new here, hi, I'm Liz. I read mostly fantasy. I've got a thing with contemporary romance at the moment, but in general, I love reading stories that last long after the last page. And this one stayed with me like a mild rash. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you like angry reviews and existential reading crisis, because that's what we're doing today. Let's dive into Apprentice to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mera. So you don't have to. Right, so Apprentice to the Villain is the second book in the series that began with Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mera. A book I read last year and absolutely hated it. Like, I hated it for real. But like the messy bookworm that I am, I still read the sequel. Why? Because I'm naive? Because I was hoping that it would be better, because maybe the characters would have evolved, maybe the plot would have deepened. Spoiler alert, it did not. For those unfamiliar, this series is pitched as The Office meets Hades and Persephone, but in my opinion with a lot less charm, a lot less depth, and a lot more what in the Deadlands, which we will talk a lot more about later. The world, supposedly dark fantasy with a hint of comedy. The villain, very grumpy. The apprentice, very sunshiny. The romance, insta-love with like zero chemistry. And the tropes, copy-pasted from the great list of booktok cliches. All of them, apparently. First things first, Apprentice to the Villain. We follow, oh my gosh, I'm throwing the book as well. I'm not that angry with it. As I said before, it is the sequel to Assistant to the Villain, where we follow Evie, who gets a job with the villain, and she's promoted to apprentice to the villain throughout the second book. If you haven't read the first or the second book, maybe skip this part. The first book, Assistant to the Villain, we follow Evie, the female protagonist who lands a job with the region's most evil villain, the villain. She expects, murder and mayhem, but doesn't expect the HR and meetings and color-coded folders and stuff like that. And most definitely not intense workplace crushes. And she tries to keep the dark and broody villain's empire from crumbling and falling apart while trying to ignore how handsome he is, because that is all she cares about in the first book. Oh my gosh, that is repeated so many times. This mysterious traitor starts sabotaging all of their operations, with buddies turning up and secrets unraveling, and Evie has to decide if it's worth working for evil or if her heart might be the bigger problem. And the first book ends with a huge cliffhanger of the villain being taken by the true villain of the story, and we're left on that huge cliffhanger, which I do like. I love a good cliffhanger ending. Fast forward to the second book that I just read, Apprentice to the Villain. We're picking up straight after the dramatic cliffhanger where the true villain has taken the villain captive, and everyone is trying to fulfill this prophecy, which if the wrong ones do it, it's gonna be bad. If the right ones do it, it's gonna be, for the better. And obviously Evie and the villain wants to fulfill this prophecy because they're not as evil as they say they are, Secrets are brewing in the kingdom. We've got dead people returning to the story more than once. Or to be fair, one was never dead. The other one was dead, now they're resurrecting, and there's a lot of stuff happening. Anyways, they want to fulfill this prophecy. In order to do that, they need to find Evie's mother, who has starlight magic. Meanwhile, they totally got the hots for each other, but neither of them can figure out to actually express that and just get it out of their systems. And if this prophecy is not fulfilled, the entire world will crumble. The stakes are high. You got that part right. Is that a good catch-up? I hope so. Are you confused? I am as well. Okay, let's get one of the most annoying things about this book out of the way. The phrase, "What in the Deadlands?" appears not once, not twice, not even just once per chapter. No, it appears so often in this book that I swear my eyes twitch when I read it now. Same expression, same words. I caught it twice on the same page. It's like the author came up with one quirky world catchphrase and just control V'd it into every single emotional beat. Oh no, I'm late. What in the Deadlands? He's so handsome. What in the Deadlands? The plot is collapsing on itself. What in the Deadlands? Oh my gosh. That's just not okay. Mix it up, please. And on top of that, repeating yourself or repeating phrases is just not okay when the chapters are so freaking short. We're talking 2-3 pages sometimes. They're way too short. Blink and you miss it short, you know? You're just getting into the scene. You might be settling into the tension, you know, you're actually feeling yourself drawn into the story, and then bam, change of scenery, cliffhanger, new chapter. Repeat. And sure, short chapters can definitely work, don't get me wrong, but not when they strip all of the pacing and the depth and, you know, the mood of the story out. Then it just doesn't work. I needed more. I wanted more from the story, and I was not a fan of the short chapters in this one. You know that feeling when you're watching cardboard cutouts make eyes at each other? Yeah, that's how this romance feels like. He's so grumpy. She's so sunshiny. He's so dangerous. And she's in love after what, 3 days? Because of how handsome he is. Look, I'm not really opposed to, you know, the grumpy sunshine trope at all. It can definitely work. But this is just lazy, I feel like. There's just zero build-up. There is zero tension. There is zero chemistry between these two characters. She's practically swooning over him from page 1, calling him mysterious and beautiful while he frowns a lot. We're told that they have feelings constantly, but we never really see it. We never feel it. It's all vibes, but no substance. And I think it's partially due to the shallow writing style, along with all of these freaking tropes all of the time. This book is just built on tropes, and not in a good way. I like a good trope when they're done well, but this one, the tropes are just there, everywhere, doing absolutely nothing, besides just having been thrown in there to be there. You know, we've got this grumpy sunshine trope, we have got found family trope, we have got the prophecy trope, there's the destiny trope as well, we've got the second chance trope, we have got the slow burning trope without true burning, and honestly too slow. When you fall in love that freaking fast, you're gonna burn out. I love a good slow burn, but I'm burned out. I don't care anymore. Even the banter doesn't feel sharp. It feels forced. The humor feels forced. Like it's trying to be this funny, quirky fantasy, but all it does is dilute whatever stakes the plot might have had, which is a shame, because this book definitely has potential, but it just doesn't. And I mean, it did make me laugh a couple of times. I'm not really sure whether it was because it was actually funny or it was just so bad, but it did make me laugh. I must admit to that. You know, there were some moments that made me chuckle. Just a few one-liners and 1 or 2 side characters might have had a bit of charm. And I will admit that this book is an easy read. It's perfect for in between heavier books or when you just need to clean your slate. Like, this book is readable in one sitting if your brain is like on low power. It's perfect for that. But that's it. It's a palate cleanser, a popcorn read, nothing more. So yeah, oh my gosh, what am I rating this book? I think on Goodreads it's going to be 2 stars, but it's probably going to be 1.5. I can't remember. I must have rated Assistant to the Villain 1 stars, and I think I'm going to give this 1.5 stars, because there's just so much that wasn't working and it had huge potential. I'm not as angry as in the first book, because that felt even more shallow. I mean, we've got some depth in this one, but like 10% more, and that's just not enough to recommend this book. And definitely not enough to reread it either. And most definitely not enough to justify that ridiculous repeat catchphrase, not in the Deadlands. Have you read this series? Did you love it? Did you somehow vibe with the villain despite his complete lack of personality? Please let me know in the comments, because I feel like I'm missing something massive, or this series just might not be for me. Oh well, it's definitely not for me, which is completely fine, I know. I just hate hating books. I love loving books. I want to love books. Make me love this book. Not every book is meant to be brilliant or deep or, you know, I just wish that this was intentional. But this just feels like a TikTok idea that somehow got a publishing deal twice. This book just has no bite. It has no depth and no editing polish. I will not be reading book 3. I will not be reading book 3. And I know there is a book 3. I don't care if they get married or fight dragons, or if they discover that they are long lost soulmates who are reconnecting through ancient villain magic. I'm done. I am Done. Thank you so much for watching. If you have ever hate-read a sequel out of sheer stubbornness, please leave a comment below. You know, mystery loves company. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed this chaos, and subscribe to the channel if you want more of these brutally honest reviews and fantasy-fueled rants. Until next time, stay messy, stay magical, and keep on reading. Bye.